Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the League of Inches podcast. And I'll tell you what, it's true what they say, 24 to 48 hours is a long time in rugby league. And it feels like just yesterday we were on talking, reviewing what happened in Vegas and the action and what a weekend it was, or what a Sunday it was. And plenty came out of that talking point-wise. And you all got involved in the comment section, which was great to see. And obviously a huge flow-on effect from the Bulldogs-Dragons game especially. We've had since another flow-on effect from that, which we will talk about tonight regarding the match review committee and the like. The Zac Lomax court hearing has finished. Hopefully that is the end. We hear about that for a while, but there is plenty to unpack there as well. Obviously the first TLT of the year officially with the rest of the remaining teams. We'll chat about a few of the key decisions that have been made for ins or outs for teams and the impact for that. Our best bet segment is back. Once again, we'll look at who got up last week, who didn't, and look ahead at our best bets for this week as well. Shout out to our major sponsor, Caxton Brewing Company. Look, guys, there's a couple of games coming up this weekend, so head on down before you get there to the Caxton Brewing Company. You can get a seat there, nice aircon spots as well located. You can get up in the environment, go out in the veranda, have yourselves a couple of drinks, get yourself a feed. Family-friendly venue as well, so take everyone down there before the game. It is a tremendous spot. Let them know we sent you. Let them know the podcast you listen. They will look after you and give you a couple of those big, those nice tap beers as well. They're a fantastic drop. Just quickly, before I get the boys involved, you will notice Isaac, unfortunately, he is a busy man at the moment, so he has had to step away from this show. We are working behind the scenes. I'm talking to him at the moment to bring you a very shortened down, probably 20 to half an hour version each week of purely just rumours sort of news show. We haven't completely locked in a time that can work for both of us. We're just completely running out of time. But hopefully over the next week, we have that announcement for you. And by next week, you're listening to that show that will be out as well. We'll have a big post out. We'll let you know. But unfortunately, yeah, just due to him growing so big, he's doing some other stuff in the works as well, which is awesome. Very proud of him. And there's definitely no split or anything like that. It's just simply we're trying to make some time. So he's just decided to step away. It is a bit of a longer show. There's bets and stuff involved. There is a little bit to it. Easier for him to step away from this one. And we'll bring in, as you can see here, the 14th man, really. But he's come in, he's off the bench, he's starting now, guys. So Brent will be a regular on our Tuesday night show, which is fantastic to see. Brent, it is good to have you solidly in. The shirt isn't officially arrived yet, so you're officially a member, but it's not really it's not quite there until you get the shirt. It's in the order. It is on its way. So over the next couple of weeks, you'll have the shirt as well. But it's fantastic to have you on board, and I'm keen to rip into this show with you.
Hey, Jolie, thanks, mate. Boys, good to be here. Make sure you don't send me that small or extra small, mate, because it'll be a bit tight. But yeah, I like to think of myself as the tray filler of League of Inches, if you will, and I'm just looking for that opportunity to get in there and make my mark, mate. But yeah, good to be here, and we'll see what we can do this evening, eh?
I heard you got the talent to match tray filler as well.
Very, very similar sort of attributes. I'm quick and nimble, yep. But yeah, it's I like to bit of impact off the bench. So we'll see how we go.
That's what we want to see. And you've got a guy like the Hammer that you're just trying to bash off the spot, which was Isaac, and at the moment you've done so. So see that's just what's happened there. Travi, I just read you. I've actually just read it now, and I've been with you now for the last 10 minutes talking. Just realised what that says. So thanks for throwing me off straight away, my own doing. But good to have you on. This is a loaded show tonight. There is going to be plenty said on a lot of discussion points, which is always great to see. But a huge show. We love what this Tuesday show is evolving into, and another big one to start. It's round one. It's Christmas Day basically for all of us. Oh, you muted yourself. He hasn't unmuted him. What a rookie.
That's a rookie mistake right there. Christmas Day was actually last Tuesday with the team list for Vegas, and this is like my birthday, New Year's, the one day on the calendar. each month that I look forward to. Like this is what this is all about. But I don't know what you're talking about, Joel, around Jolie. How about Breno? Like I've literally the show name Travi, Jolie, and Brento show. There we go. It's locked and loaded.
I haven't actually showed him this yet either. It's a surprise for when we do the post over the next couple of days. But I've had a logo done up for you as well, Brent. So you're actually officially part of this show, and it'll be great to see that logo that's been presented. So very keen there. Let's just go straight into it, boys and girls. There is no asking about the week or what caught your eye because there's too much to talk about on this show. We are ripping straight into it, taking that Band-Aid straight off. That wax strip is coming straight off because the Zac Lomax situation, boys and girls, has hopefully finished for the time being. I say that because I feel like it'll ramp its head up again at some point when a club gets interested again. But from what we hear at the moment, what I read is just quickly off the Eels official statement, which I just screenshotted a little graph up, a paragraph basically, which sums a lot of it up. The court order is consistent with the restraint in the deed of release that Zac signed with the Eels on 16th of November 2025. Other than the Eels have agreed that the term of the restraint will now cease on the 31st of October 2027 rather than the 31st of October 2028, all other terms of the deed of release remain in place. The Melbourne Storm have consented to cost order made by the Supreme Court that the Melbourne Storm will contribute $250,000 towards the legal costs incurred by the Parramatta Eels. I also believe there's also some Zac Lomax costs that they originally agreed to pay for when this whole shenanigans started. Brent, I'll throw to you first. Your comments. What do you think that this is now seemingly finally over? Zac Lomax will not be returning to the NRL over at least the next 2 years unless someone can come to the party with a deal that the Eels are happy with. We're going to dive into a bit of this stuff shortly, but just initial reactions.
Yeah, mate, I must admit I was not expecting that outcome this morning based on what we were hearing yesterday about him wanting to negotiate and adjourning court. I must admit I thought some sort of deal was going to be made. So to hear that outcome this morning was a little bit surprising. In the same breath, I think it's a good stance. It's a good outcome, I guess, because we've seen over forever the way that these contracts, they're so easily broken, and they essentially should be written on toilet paper because that's about what they're worth. You know what I mean? So I think it's probably the first time for a while it seems like a contract's been upheld. Again, though, the fact that it took Parramatta wanting to take this to court for that to happen is a bit of a concern, I guess. We all know PVL was trying to get in some sort of involvement there, and that seemed to be a bit of a trigger for the Parramatta Eels to push it down to the court avenue. But yeah, look, to be honest, Joel, I'm just happy to hear the end of it. I know we're going to hear probably more about it in the coming days and weeks as far as maybe a new deal, renegotiating something potentially. And he certainly won't be playing against the Storm this week. But I just... sorry, against the Eels
He
this
won't play
week.
against the Storm either.
Yeah, he won't.
Sure.
He won't. So I'm just... I hate this sort of stuff generally. I just want to get the footy underway so we can put it all behind us. And whilst it's pretty disappointing for Lomax, I'm sure, as I've also said previously, no player is bigger than the game. And I think it's a good outcome for the game moving forward.
Trav, you obviously know the talking points we will get into, but what was your initial reactions as well to when this happened? Once again, chat's absolutely lit up. I remember getting onto basically the lunch break at work and just looking at the phone going, holy shit. Seeing the news, and I was a bit like Brent as well. I was actually quite surprised that this was the actual outcome. I was expecting potentially the worst and just anticipating to just be gutted on this podcast, but I was pleasantly surprised as well.
Initial reaction is thank Christ the shit show's over. So that was my initial reaction. And my next reaction was just a win for contracts. So as Brent has said, I've been quite busy this afternoon and tonight, so I haven't been able to listen to any podcasts or anything that's come out. So most of what I'm saying here is kind of what I've heard, or my initial thoughts, or my thoughts as it's gone. But yeah, okay. I'm a Storm fan. It's pretty obvious if you have a look in the background. But
really.
I'm also an NRL fan, and I've spoken for 2 years now around contracts and the garbage that's happened. And I was very vocal about the crap that happened with Galvin last year and the contracts there and all of that sort of stuff. So I really hope this is an eye opener for not only players, but also the clubs around if you sign someone for this long, this is what they're getting. And the only way you can get rid of them is by trading them. So I really hope that this is an eye opener for everybody around that situation. And then my last reaction was, whilst disappointed that we didn't get a player of his talent in coming to the Storm, I'm not. I'm also a little disappointed that we don't have this guy playing, because as a fan of myself of the NRL, I want to see the best guys playing, but I also very much so understand that, like, he's an idiot and he's done some really silly things over the course of his career, in terms of these contract situations. So you've made your cake, now you got to eat it, and that's what he's doing.
Can we tackle firstly, just a point that you just touched on there, but the likes of Reedy has been really hard on this today on the Triple M podcast. Dave Riccio mentioned it on that podcast as well, and NRL 360 tonight. This whole sort of victim mentality around Zac Lomax and the NRL missing out, and now basically feeling like they're missing out on someone. The NRL's missed out on and has lost some of the best players to play this game multiple times. Like Israel Folau got up and left. Sonny Bill Williams got up and left. Roger Tuivasa, Sheck got up and left. Like the list can go on with how many players did get up and go. The game's never stopped. Like we just seen the other weekend on the trial, like the two young Tiger wingers put on two of the best individual tries we've seen in a long time in a trial. Wait till what they can do during the season this year. Like the game is bigger than any player, and I just like the fact that obviously my club was involved, but I love the fact that this has put, for now, a stop to a player and a manager trying to dictate and control something that they completely agreed to throughout the whole process. And as soon as basically it erupted and basically everyone who was pre-warning him about R360 became right and they became wrong and had egg on their face, they tried this whole backflip. And once again, funnily enough, Zac Lomax, who has a history, and I can talk about that in a second, of backflipping on deals and getting out of deals and trying to do everything his own way, it's backfired rapidly on him. And I don't get the whole the game's missing out now. Well, he was happy to get up and go 3 months ago when R360 was there, and we were going to miss out on seeing him then. So why is it such a big deal now? Like no one tried to keep him in the game 3 or 4 months ago when he got up and left and wanted the big dollar contract. Why is it such a big problem now? I don't get that part of the narrative, because he made the decision. See you later.
That doesn't mean that we can't. Uh, like I totally absolutely agree with what you are saying, but that doesn't mean that we can't mourn or not miss someone that's a good player. Like when Sonny Bill left, we all missed him. Yes, the game keeps moving, but we can still miss him. Like Pappenhausen's retired, we bloody well miss him. We're going to miss him this weekend on Thursday and not seeing that mullet flying around. Like we can still miss these guys, and when they can be playing for us, it's like, okay, yeah, well, I wish, it's a shame we don't have this guy in the game. He's not playing now, and unfortunately, because of a whole heap of things that have happened. But if none of this happens, we'd all be happy to have Lomax in the game. And to be fair, you New South Welshmen would love him to be playing Origin for you if none of this happened. So, like, there has to be an element of human emotion to say, yeah, okay, well, we would like him to still be in the game. We know that he's talented. We know he's one of the best wingers in the competition. Like, we can still have that. It's not a victim mentality.
I just think, and by the way, let's enter Karaz era now for the Blues. Just quickly get on that train. So let's see him carving up this year. I reckon, I'll say this. I think the game cared more about Zac Lomax than Zac Lomax cared about the game. That's basically where I'm at with it.
Clear.
Because
yeah.
Let's just go through quickly. So the Dragons, he ended up leaving and quitting that club because Flano basically said to him he was a better winger than centre, which is clear as day to any general person with any rugby league knowledge about them. He's a better winger than centre. He played rep duties and got rep honours and debuts playing on the wing. R360, so he left the Dragons, signed with Parramatta, cut his deal short. Went to Parramatta, ended up finding out about this R360 and getting all these dollars shoved in his face. And even despite pre-warnings by even PVL, who funnily enough ended up being in his corner, that it won't work, don't go there, he ended up cancelling his contract and telling Parramatta, who said, no worries, we will let you go. But by the way, sign this agreement as well, where it stipulates to you, you can leave, but you're not coming back to the NRL if this goes balls up, which it did. And guess what? Now that it went balls up, despite signing an agreement with that and understanding it and being okay with it when it involved him getting his way, now that it hasn't gone his way, he's wanted to try and do whatever he can, and it's blown up in his face again. Like, it just seems like it's this revolving circle at the moment, Brent, around Zac Lomax, and everything seems to be me, and he's finally gotten, I feel like, the old whack that he probably deserves, and hopefully this is a wake-up call, because it's also like his management at the moment. If I was Zac Lomax, I'd seriously be having some conversations over the next week or two about player management and where I'm at with that, because he's been led down a garden path. Yes, he's a man, but these footy players put a lot of trust into these guys, and the fact that they let him go down as far as they did is embarrassing in itself.
Yeah, I guess my first comment on that, the NRL backing him, would be we were happy to, PVL was quite happy to let him be banned for 10 years if he went, and then with only in a matter of months, he's trying to get him back into the game. So I find that a bit ironic, but it is what it is. I guess it's a bit of a shame for Zac, because he is a great player, and like Trav said, you want to see great players play the game, but yeah, no one's bigger than the game, and hopefully he learns from it. I must admit, if he was so serious about the Rugby 360 thing, I just assumed he would go and play rugby somewhere, whether it was Europe or Japan or wherever it would have been. I thought, so for the fact that he didn't actually try and pursue union a bit more makes me really question his motives leaving Parra to begin with. And we heard murmurs of he was potentially engaging with the Storm before he even let Parra know he was going to go to Rugby 360. It's all speculation, but yeah, I guess it makes you question his motives and that sort of thing as well. But, like I said, good to just put it behind us. One thing I would put to you gents, and it's a bit tinfoil hatty, do you give any oxygen to the embers that Melbourne Storm and NRL wanted to negotiate a deal on this because they didn't want anything else coming to light that's occurred throughout this?
100%. It's the elephant in the room, isn't it? And I heard, shout out to Jason from an ex-sponsor of ours, Advisory, talk about this tonight. I quickly listened in on the Talking Parra podcast, and he's obviously in the know with that sort of stuff legality-wise, and he mentioned basically that there's a funny timing about all this quickly being shut up shop, and it just doesn't, yeah. What is it? If it quacks like a duck, it walks like a duck. It's a sheep.
But didn't the court ruled that the contract stands and the deeds of the contract laws stand, right?
No, Lomax made the deal with the club first.
Okay. Yeah, so I've missed that part being at work today, but
the court was obviously involved, but Lomax ended up cutting the deal before it actually got to the whole full-on court proceedings where everything gets aired. We already had some things get aired, but that's the talk at the moment, like legal-wise, is that if it got to pass today, basically it got to that step, and that's why some out there are saying that it seems a bit tinfoily hat, what Brent's saying, that's sort of where it's all at, which make of it as you will. There'll be plenty in the comments, I reckon, will have their say on that. There already has been on social media. I know reading through a few little things before on the old on the old cam when I was dropping some kids off at the pool. But yeah, it's make of it as you just on the deal, I guess. Do you think the Eels should have taken the $750,000 deal that was put onto the table basically within the 11th hour before this deal collapsed?
It's made up of more than just that, though, wasn't it? It was made up of 410K of Maddo, wasn't it?
No. So firstly, it was 410 for Maddo, and then I think it was 300K. So it ended up being like 710K in total. Parramatta said no to that, and then Storm came back again and said, you know what? Don't worry about the Maddo crap. You can keep him, do whatever you want. What we'll actually do is
pay you
$750, which is still an extra $40,000 more than originally, and basically take that and go from that. Someone. I thought Trav was going to speak again because I gave him the
No,
answer.
I was just looking for clarity. Then I was going to let Brent talk, and then I was going to come in because I've spoken first each time. But look, do I think the Eels should have taken 750K? As a Storm fan, yes. As an NRL fan, I still think they should have, yes, because he's not going to play. 750,000 is $750,000. That's a lot of money that they can filter through.
Filter through what though?
Well, it wasn't cap money, was it?
No, that's the whole point.
So there
it
you
doesn't
go. You
help.
got 700. It's got shitloads. 750K is so much to improve and do things with.
I'm telling you now, Parramatta's one of the wealthiest clubs in the NRL.
Yeah, I know they are, but that doesn't
750,000
make a
is
difference.
loose change in the glove box to them.
The Pokies make that at the Parramatta Leagues Club just in an afternoon.
Yeah, no, I get that 700, but 750,000 is a lot for one player, like as a transfer deal. It's enormous, and isn't that that's like the highest amount for a transfer deal?
But doesn't that show a bit of arrogance there as well? Because Parra said from the start of this whole negotiation period, so a month ago, they wanted a player. Like, literally talk to us. We want a player. This is the players that we want. If you want to come to the party, let's do it. And now it's got to this stage, and then the literally final offer is still money. It's sort of like, to me, I just sit back and think, I don't think the Melbourne Storm actually got what was going on here. They tried to control a narrative that they weren't in control of, and they didn't want to come to the party once, which is fair enough because we've spoken in the past about their roster being quite thin this year, which is perfectly fine. I understand why they didn't want to give a player up. I'd be 100% the same. So just cut ties with Lomax and go, it's too much. Like, now they've cost themselves hundreds of thousands of dollars and not got the result that they wanted, and basically ended with egg on their face, and the NRL, basically the entire rest of the NRL fan base laughing at them. It just feels like it's been a waste of a month.
I don't agree with that statement and that sentiment, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know. Brent, you chime in. It does.
No, I don't really understand all that angle to it, if I'm honest, boys, as far as, what that surplus of money can do for the club. And I to be honest, I'm more interested in the fact that, the Storm are covering Zac Lomax's legal fees and what that relationship is and where all that money comes from. It seems like it's just, I don't know, just to me as a fan of the game, I feel like I'm more confused now about what we actually know, what's transparent, what's not, who's getting money where.
Agreed.
Like, it's just made me feel a lot more uneasy about the politics and the administration behind the game, which we never had great confidence in as it was. So, yeah, personally, boys, like I said, I just prefer to stick to the footy, as we all would. And, good to get the circus behind us, eh?
It would have been nice for this to keep going just so we got to the end of what actually was going on. It would have been nice just to see all that, see it all aired out, all the text and that, just to see what, because the little stuff that was aired obviously wasn't great to see. It's pretty fair to say that, but yeah, interesting to see where that could have gone. But anyway, let's move on to obviously Parramatta still. Mitch Barnett. They've apparently now become the leading favourites to land the Mitch Barnett signature and headed to the top of the leaderboard. Funnily enough, the Newcastle Knights haven't even entered discussions from what I've heard today, Brent. So from everyone who thought they were $1 favourites, apparently not even entering discussions at this stage. But the Eels have gone to as far at the moment as they've had talks with the manager, which is a sure tale sign that they're very interested. Seen a couple of different reports about how fans are thinking about this one today. And there's some on the fence that they don't like this signing at all. They think Barnett's getting a bit too old and it's a bit of a risky, silly sort of signing coming off an ACL. Others that absolutely love it, love the experience and I'm more so on the fence that I like this attempt to sign him because Jack de Belin in my eyes is a sure thing to go to PNG, whether it's this year or whether it's the end of this year or the end of next year. He will go to PNG. That's inevitable. He'll spend a couple of years there. Junior Paulo's probably got one more year max in him if he doesn't retire this year. There's a massive space for just that little bit of leadership still around the club. And Mitchell Barnett, the last time he laced on a boot, he was an international forward. Like, you don't forget how to play football within 6 to 8 months. I know all eyes will be on how he comes back from this over the next couple of weeks when he's due back. But I think it's a pretty decent signing. I'm happy to see Parra put their hat in the ring for this. What do we think, Brent? Firstly, I guess your reaction to Newcastle not even being in the conversation at this point.
Yeah, I'm a bit still on the fence as far as I know that there's been some history there with him at Newcastle, so I can probably understand why we at least publicly haven't come out yet and said we're interested. Maybe there's some politics there that needs to get sorted out behind the scenes that we're not aware of, or whether there's some personalities still there that it's just not going to happen. I don't know. I'm just speculating as well. But yeah, I still, despite his age, early 30s, wasn't he, Jolie? He's
31
still
at the moment, I think. So he turns 32 this year. He'll be 33 mid next year.
Yeah. So he turns 32 in April.
Yeah.
And
so over a month.
We saw him make his Origin debut not long ago. He's a high caliber player, and I do think, even as you noted with Paulo and JDB potentially on the outer or not too much left in him, I think he'll add a bit of starch to the pack there, and it'll be good for him. You've got some young boys coming through there that I reckon could use a bit of that experience and a bit of that leadership, as you said. But I would certainly be happy still to get him in Newcastle for the next couple of years for the same reasons. So, yeah, still a long way away from it. Again, I'm still not entirely sure how this will work because he's still contracted for next year, right? So whether the Wars are going to be looking for some sort of player compensation, particularly as a result of what we've just seen play out with Lomax, maybe it's a little bit more flexible and a bit different because of the compassionate grounds. But he's going to be still a huge asset to any club. Whether or not we see the output from him that we've seen in the last couple of years, I'm not sure. But like you said, we'll be interesting to see how he bounces back from this injury. But he's going to be a huge coup for whoever gets him, and he's definitely going to add plenty to a middle, that's for sure.
I guess the good thing as well, Trevor, I've seen this with ACLs a lot, is it takes them about 6 months or so to get back to really the player that they once were, or as close as possible to it. So I guess whoever is signing him, they're probably getting the best version of him or as close as he can be, because this year will be that time where he actually gets to get the body used to things again, get confidence back in the knee. So what do you make of the signing?
I understand the Parra hesitancy, or some of the fans' hesitancy. Like, he's about to turn 32. You're going to get him at the end of the year off the back, if this was to be the signing, off the back of another year. So he's another year older. He's done his knee, and he's turning 33 by the time he plays for you next year. But in saying that, I think would you sign him now, or would you sign de Belin? You know what I mean? Like, it's
him.
I would rather Barnett than de Belin. And I think, and you're going to get more out of Barnett than what you're getting off de Belin. And I think de Belin's a pretty good signing for you guys with the list for the Parra list and what he provides. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's a no-brainer. If you could get him, do it. It dumbfounds me that Newcastle weren't on the front foot and said, "Listen, I apologise. Here's, whatever happened. That's the past. We're here to move on. We've got a new coach. We've got a whole new bloody organisation. We want you to lead the way." Like, it just blows my mind that they haven't done that. But maybe there's obviously, as Breno has said, there's a few other things behind the scenes that they need to talk about, Jolie.
Honestly, these nicknames need to stop. Let's fire up again. I'm getting serious. No laughing at the moment, because let's go over to the MRC. So we're not going to talk about, obviously, Sunday. We've spoken about it at length. Everyone has. They've had us say, like, the post went off its head. So it was great to see all the interaction. It shows just how big this is. The MRC has come down, and we all spoke about the Crichton tackle the other day, and how bad we thought it actually was, and how we just thought it was unbelievable he didn't get a sin bin from that. The MRC has doubled down on this and not even charged Critter for this tackle, which I think is absolutely outrageous. It is just purely bullshit, this call. It has to be said. The fact that he has made direct, forceful contact with someone's head with intent to do so. The MRC, who gets to watch this time after time like we all do, has had time to look at this, has probably seen all the angles that we have, and has come out and said this doesn't even warrant a fine, is ridiculous in itself. For mine, it warrants a suspension, not just a fine. It should have been a week or two from this. The fact that Braden Burns is up for 2 to 3 weeks, Stephen Crichton is up for nothing at all. I actually have gone back and watched both a number of times, and I reckon Crichton's was actually the worst of the weekend. And I genuinely think that. I think when I go back and watch Burns a couple of times, I know it was on Kalen Ponga. Sorry, Brent, but I actually think the initial contact was slightly on the shoulder and it went straight up to the head. So still, I completely get the sin bin, and I agree with his suspension that's coming. But to look at then Crichton's and think that is so lesser on the scale than what Burns is just absolutely outrageous, Trav. It just makes no sense whatsoever. And the fact that we're not even officially into round one yet, we're talking about the MRC and the inconsistencies and how much of a joke it is an extreme concern for us moving into this year.
It's freaking mind-blowing, man. Like, it's 2 games in. We're 2 games into the season, and we're already sitting here with this garbage conversation around what the bloody judiciary system is doing. It just makes absolute no sense, and it's pissing me off. Like, it really is getting to the point where it's like, it consumes everybody. We get away from the product of what we've got because of the inconsistencies. And the things that people are getting pissed off about is the fact that it's this one person. It's Stephen Crichton. Now, I'm a massive Stephen Crichton fan. Not the biggest in the world, but I am a massive fan of his. But he's got a history, and he's got a history of getting away with it. And that's what people are whinging about. That's the problem. I watched Billy Slater the other day. We're only Tuesday, Monday. I watched him yesterday do a little say the same sort of thing as what I've been saying, is that as a tackler, you've got to have you have the onus and the responsibility to protect the person you are tackling to a degree. This is now a game of, we're still hard, we're still gladiators and the like, but you still have a responsibility to look after the person that you are tackling in a game moment. What Tu was doing was a moment of general gameplay. He wasn't doing something to or something silly or whatever to get hit in the head. It was general gameplay. The amount of times that a catcher off a high ball gets the ball and goes and drops the feet and tries to get to the ground straight away so they don't get belted happens multiple times every single game. So this is a normal gameplay situation here. So in that situation, Crichton has that moment, and yet we've got nothing, not even a fine. And then we're asking questions because there was actually 3 other fines of the weekend, yet Crichton still got nothing. It's mind blowing. And there's no hatred here. I don't hate Crichton. I hate the fact that he just keeps getting off. Yet I watch others not.
Brent, what do you think after your little holiday just then?
Yeah, apologies.
Dodo.
Yeah, bloody hell. It's the same sort of thing, right? Like, whilst I don't agree with a lot of the way some of this stuff gets ruled on in the game these days, it is what it is, and the onus now is on the defender to make safe contact regardless of the circumstances. It doesn't matter what that situation is, whether, that player catching a bomb drops to the ground, you can't hit him in the head. That's just plain and simple the way it is. The fact that he doesn't even get a fine, which means he probably wouldn't have got any carryover points or anything, right? Like, he's literally just got off this clean skin, clean slate. It's an interesting one. And the other thing is now, again, as we've seen with these refereeing decisions, and now we're seeing it again with the MRC, what's the precedent? How are they going to treat things into the future? Now we've seen 2 games of footy on the weekend for the entire season, and we're talking about this stuff already, and again, it's just going to cause potential for confusion, inconsistency, and it's just not good for the game, because we always just end up talking about these rulings that we can't get our head around. And there just seems to be a lack of common sense applied to these things when they happen, and it just leaves fans scratching their heads.
Then 2 weeks ago, we saw the precedent set by Cleary getting off for that hit. And then 2 weeks later, the precedent's been changed again because Burns, for a hit that wasn't near as bad as what Cleary did, has now just been offered a 2-game suspension, and Critter got nothing, even a fine. Like, even to even go even further, Frizzell gets a $1,000 fine for what he did. Like, come on now. This is not comparing apples with apples. Like, Jesus Christ, like, it's insane. And then the Tuapolotu one, which, did that even get a penalty in the game? I don't think it did.
No, he just got put on a report. Nothing. They went back to it after like a set.
They went back to it. He's just copped a $2,000 fine. Like, so, like, come on.
And McKaylee will miss 6 weeks now, I think it was too, 4 to 6 weeks.
Exactly. Yep. Incredible.
It doesn't make sense. We're crying out for consistency, and already I almost would go as far as saying it feels like sometimes the NRL likes the fact that this gets them the exposure that it does, with everyone talking about it, complaining about it, because it just feels like this sort of stuff should have been fixed by now. We're going into another season where the same shit has been said now within the first 2 games of the season. The first 2 games. Actually, it started, like Trav said, it started in the trials. That's ridiculous. Sorry, but that is ridiculous. But Brent said about 20 minutes ago he wants to talk footy. So let's talk some footy, because TLT has arrived, guys. And like I said, it was basically Christmas Day. I stopped on the way home from work, realised I wasn't going to get home anywhere near in time, so I had to pull over, get all this TLT stuff done, check it out, see all the teams and everything. But no, what we'll do each week, guys, with this, we'll just get a few big talking points out of team lists, and we'll go into it. Obviously, a few more today being the first week, and then it will go into it a bit more self-explanatory as we go. I wanted to touch first on the New Zealand Warriors. So Dallin Watene-Zelezniak good enough to keep Alofia Khan-Pierre out of that wing spot that many had predicted, including myself, that I thought AKP was going to take over and take that wing spot. But DWZ, despite some defensive deficiencies throughout the last year or so of his tenure on that wing, has been good enough. Whether this is just a show of faith by Andrew Webster, which I feel like over the last 12 or 18 months, he's starting to get a little bit guilty of, maybe being a bit rewarding loyalty a bit too much. But he has a shot. To be fair, Dallin was decent, I thought, in the trial that he did play. So he's got a little bit of form. What do we think of this change here? Are we surprised, Bren, or you thought that's the way it would have gone?
No, chuck me the clipboard. I reckon he's got it all wrong. Webby has got it all wrong. Give me the job. I think the best. I don't even think that they've named their best.
Hang on, first week on the podcast, he's already gone for another job.
I'd also, I think the flying mullet is always great to see it, and his ability to put a ball down in the corner is a sight for any family. We'll love to see it. But if I'm going to pick on anyone out of there, I'm probably more picking on someone like Pompey, and I think Chance should probably be at centre, and then how Tuapiki is at fullback is beyond me, because I think that's a much stronger 1-5 for him. But you reckon DWZ maybe on the outer? I don't know, how old is he? But yeah, you sign a player of AKP's ability. He is just a tried and true try scorer, pure speed, like makes something out of nothing on a 20-cent piece. And he's your future. Like, he's probably one of the only people I see that could potentially catch AJ if he gets enough games. But it's interesting. I guess I got the beauty of depth now, and maybe he is, like you said, just giving DWZ that first look because he's the custodian. But I love to watch me some AKP. So hopefully he gets an opportunity sooner rather than later.
How long do you reckon until we see AKP in this first grade side, Trav?
3 weeks.
Ooh.
I don't think it lasts very long, and I reckon he goes into the resis and just absolutely dominates. I mean, he got named 21st, so he's not even. Well, he won't even be there. So yeah, hopefully he goes and kills it. The dude's just got talent oozing out of every orifice that he's got on his body. He's just that good. But okay, he's got some deficiencies in defense, but man, that New Zealand team can cover that. It makes no sense why they haven't got him there.
They need a bit of speed, I think, the Warriors at the moment, and he would have provided that for sure. For the Roosters, Benaya Iowelu named at hooker. If Robson's, obviously Robson's out for a little bit, Iowelu, if he kills this, which I'm anticipating to do, because I have huge raps on this kid. I think he's a freak. I almost got to the point where if the Roosters had a chance later to make this Robson signing, I almost question if they would have done it to start with, because I think just Iowelu will just take this and run with this position over the next 5 to 10 years. I think he's that good of a player. I'm almost starting to think now, and I know it's only round one, it's hard to say, but I'm starting to look at this lineup and think maybe Watson's the odd man out here, because I do know he obviously can play that lock role as well, but if Iowelu kills this in the next few weeks, you have to keep him in this team. I don't think you can carry both Iowelu and Watson on the bench, Trav. So I'm very curious over the next few weeks to see how he plays, and then I guess how Watson plays as well, because there could be a huge flow-on effect here.
Well, they can name it with a six-man bench, but like, what a waste of talent when you've got those two sitting there and one of them's
Yeah.
buried very deep. And the only reason why they would come back is particular injuries or something like that. So, yeah, look, I'm the same as you and have been calling for the Roosters to have him as their starting nine as he is. But obviously, I think Robson is clearly the nine. Um, it's a nice problem for the Roosters to have, but yeah, I I think Watson's out, to be honest, and that's funny when considering that he's been the Origin 14 for the Blues.
Yeah. Brent, just your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I heard Robbo say it must have been before that Parra trial, that he fully endorses Ailu as a first grade NRL hooker, and thinks very highly of him. So it's going to be great to see him get his opportunity, certainly. I think there's a bit of, it's a bit unknown as to exactly when Robson, I should say, will be back. But I still think Connor's got a little bit to offer, and he's a perfect utility, right? Like, especially on a six-man bench. So it's going to be great to also see Steep, who I thought maybe Connor would get the nod at 13, but also good to see the young fella Steep get his opportunity. But I think with the added flexibility now of this six-man bench, you still do get the luxury of a Connor Watson and potentially an Aielu as well, but you just don't have to use them. I guess we'll probably have a look at some of these benches a little bit later, but the Finns have got a quite interesting six-man bench as well. But just super keen to see Benaya, and he's class. So it'll be interesting to see. They've got a good headache, I guess.
I'm very keen to see Blake Steep as well, just quickly. There's been a lot of raps on this guy for a number of years now, coming through the juniors and the like. He's finally got this 13 spot, especially while Radley's out suspended for that 10 or so weeks that he is. So I'm very keen to see what he can make of this, how many minutes he gets, and then what happens to him once Radley does come back, because we did see last year Radley start to play a bit more on the edge and the like, but wonder if that's a long-term view or not. For the Titans, so news came out basically this morning, I think it was, that Jaden Campbell was out with a hamstring issue, unfortunately, that he's been carrying. And it's not just like a 1 week. He's out for about 3 or 4 weeks, the latest report, with Lockie Ilias starting now at halfback alongside Brimson. In a funny world, boy, I kind of like the makeup a little bit more of the halves. I would have liked it to be Campbell at 5'8", because now I like the fact that they've got a proper halfback steering the ship. Now Brimson can play that more 6 running style role. So I'm actually really excited to see over the next few weeks how this works, because this could force Hane's hand basically from the start to then make a big call when it comes to Brimson and Campbell. And Brimson either probably goes into the centre, which probably will be the likely destination. Campbell comes to 5'8". But Trav, it's a very intriguing few weeks ahead for especially Ilias as well, because let's not beat around the bush. He obviously hasn't had the best time in first grade over the last couple of years. He keeps going in and out and getting dropped, and was probably unfairly treated last year, and confidence was shot. He looks really good in the trials for the Titans, to be fair, this year. Looks good. Looks like he's put on a bit of muscle. Looks hot. I'll just go out and say it. He looks hot. So I'm keen to watch him play.
Good player. Like he's not a bad player. I think you're right, and we've been calling for it for a while, that the Titans need just that stock standard, not sexy halfback, just to sit there and and steer the ship. And yeah, like obviously in play style, Joel, get you mate. I know you're tired and you haven't been home all day, but let's not push that out into the podcast. But but yeah, like he's just your stock standard halfback, but that's what they need. So, but JC's one of the better players in the competition and going to be, so he's got a spot there. It's also a good headache to have. Ilias has got a chance here for a few weeks to play himself into a spot, and force hands, and that's a good problem to have. I'm very keen to watch this play out.
Brent, get with me. I know you can get around a good-looking bloke when you see one.
I think the term we're looking for, he's not flashy on the field, but he's certainly hot. The other thing I would say is I saw it pop up on the Titans socials the other day. They did a Dress Like Ilias Day, and they were all wearing these. It was hilarious. Yeah, it was absolutely hilarious. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. Shout out to the Titans social media team, but that was a ripper. I guess the only other thing I want to mention, boys, like Ilias is still he's obviously not proven. I think he hasn't played. Oh, he's probably played, I don't know, 50 something. Like, it wouldn't be that many more NRL games. The thing I've noticed a little bit, and it's really awesome to see, is they've named that Zane Harrison on the bench. So I think if Ilias doesn't start well, we may get an opportunity to see this young fella, who I am super excited to see. I'm all for Ilias getting the crack, first nod, and as he should, being a bit more experienced. But yeah, there's big raps on that Zane Harrison on the bench there, and he has been named in the 6-man. I'd also love to see him get an opportunity because I'm super excited what I see from him. So I'm going to put a little bit on the Ilias chat because I want to see the hot boy Zane, because I think he's a bit of a looker as well. I'll keep it there. But Zane Harrison is another option they'll have, and Ilias will have him nipping at his heels, so he'll have to play well and stay there play well to stay there rather.
So these Gold Coast boys have done something to us. We've got to move on before things go really downhill quickly. Something could happen later, about 9 o'clock at night. So let's move on. I reckon, little prediction, I actually think to end the year, Zane will be in the 7. I think that's how big the raps are on him. And from so far what we've seen, he's a very talented footy player. So mixed reports here from the Raiders, because there's a few things happening about, obviously the big one at the moment is Matty, Tomoko and Nicholson have both been, I've heard 2 reports. One is I've heard they've actually been dropped. They'll be playing New South Wales Cup this week. The other I've heard is they both got niggly injuries, and it's more so just to look after their bodies moving forward. But then I question, why would they still be playing New South Wales Cup if they're trying to save their bodies? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. So if it is the dropping, Sasungi's gone to centre. Bloody out of nowhere, Noah Martin has gotten the edge back row spot ahead of Hosking as well, who's on the bench. So that confirms what everyone's spoken about in the preseason, that he'll be now officially basically a middle. He's part of the middle rotation moving forward, and probably a last resort edge if they need it, I guess. But crazy stuff to start this season with, boys. The fact that I would never have predicted, if it wasn't because of obviously injury, that both Tomoko and Nicholson wouldn't be in the top 19 of this side. Brent?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. You never know with Ricky either. He's not one to shy away from a bit of discipline. So whether we're getting the full story or not, I'm not sure. I do know, Matty.
Blow up bats.
Maybe some weak gutted something or others, but it's an interesting one because Matty Nicholson certainly looks like a player and was awesome last year. I did notice he had some sort of shoulder issue from the trial, so
shoulder, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it would be interesting to see him play cup based on that, and Tomoko's pretty classy as well. But that said, Simi Sasagi is also an absolute weapon. I think he's a bit of a sleeper, to be honest. So again, another really good problem to have. I still think their best 13 has Nicholson and Tomoko in it. But yeah, it's whether it's smoke or mirrors or they've genuinely got some injuries, I guess, will remain to be seen. And maybe Ricky's just doing a bit of tough love for the boys to start the year. Who knows?
What games is Ricky playing here, Trav?
Sticky Ricky's not a saying anymore, is it? We all thought this is what he was going to do, and he's made some big changes. Does anyone ever know? Does even Ricky know what games he plays? I think it happens, and then he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm playing this game today." I just think that's the way it is, and that's the fun of it. That's why we love him, eh? That's why we love him. But yeah, I think it's big calls, and it's great. And for the Raiders to have the depth to be able to say, listen, you've got a little niggly injury. You probably haven't, read between the lines. You haven't worked hard enough to recover and get up for round 1. So let's put you over here, and these boys have. So we're going to do it. You've got a competition now. You don't have a spot in my team. Everyone has to earn it. I think that's a really nice game that he's playing for him.
So what the other part of this game is, I looked at the hooker situation and I am absolutely perplexed at this one. I don't get it. I love Ricky. I love what he's doing there at the Raiders. I don't get this selection. So Starling starting, which totally fine with, but the bench makes zero sense to me. So he's actually opted to start Brayley as the 14, which has pushed Paddy back to, I think he's on the extended bench, if I remember correctly, but he has been told he will be playing New South Wales Cup this year to play a longer minute role to get some footy into him. I don't get where this is sort of come from, which is why I've always questioned the Brayley signing. I didn't get it from the start. I don't really think it makes a lot of sense. Unless Brayley's just starting hooker, I don't get the impact, firstly, that he'll make coming off the bench. That just makes zero sense to me. And I feel like you've now completely shot Paddy's confidence, who I noticed last year, anytime he came on, he sort of changed the game for the Raiders. He picked up the momentum and created lots around the ruck. Yeah, he may have started to overplay his hands slightly here and there, but he was a young guy learning the game. He's just had another full preseason, and I was looking so forward to what he was able to produce this year. I was hoping from that 15, 20-minute slot he was getting, maybe it was up to 30 minutes now. He's getting a little bit more minutes because it looked like he did need that at the back end of last year because he was getting a bit rushed, feeling like, oh, shit, I'm only on the field for 15 minutes at the moment. I need to make a stance in this game, where I was really looking forward to him getting more time this year. But I'm nervous if this Brayley signing will put back his development for basically a 12-month period now, because it seems like this may be the way it goes moving forward. And if anything, I can see into the future maybe Brayley starting and Starling coming off the bench to provide that like impact style hooker rotation slot. Boys, what do we think here? I'm just, as I said, I'm perplexed.
I'll jump in first, and I guess my first thought is, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They won a minor premiership last year. Owen Paddy's an up-and-coming young hooker, arguably the best if you read into the mail. And I'm with you. I'm totally with you, Jolie, in that it was going to be exciting to see him come on a bit this year. I get it if it's they want to get some more minutes in his legs, but you've got to also be careful now that it doesn't put him off and he maybe starts sniffing around somewhere else, because I think he signed a pretty long-term deal with him. Like it was it was at least a few years. So he should be secured at least for the next few years. But interesting one. I would also, I would have thought it's the other way around. Brayley's certainly getting towards the back end of his career. Maybe there's just something we don't know about Paddy as far as maybe he's carrying something as well. But as far as impact and a bit of X factor, it's Paddy all day for me. So yeah, very interesting. Again from Stick.
Trav.
I would start Starling hands down over the three of them, without a doubt. I wouldn't even be bringing him off the bench. And to be fair, from what I can see, I think Starling can play 80. But I also really liked that Starling comes on for 60 over the course of a game. He probably plays that 50, has a rest for 10, and then finishes the last 15 to 20. So I like that aspect too. But this is Starling is the hooker. So therefore, who's a better 14 out of Brayley and Paddy? And I get that Paddy is a really good player, but I'd actually have Brayley as a 14 just more so because of the versatility that Brayley offers. And so therefore, I don't mind it, but I also know exactly what you're saying. Paddy is the future, or is a very good hooker, and can be and will be a good hooker. It's just a matter of whether that's with the Raiders whilst they've got Starling sitting in there. Again, it's a good problem to have that the Raiders have got. You know, you're deciding who gets to be the 14. Like that's a pretty good problem.
Was there not some chat that Starling might have been on potentially leaving as well? Like
they re-signed him.
Okay, I missed that. Apologies, I missed that.
I was about to say that I reckon Starling has surprised the Raiders a lot over the last 12 months, because
absolutely
18 months ago, like he was coming on doing those spurts and things like that, and I think everyone could see he was a good player, but it felt like he was only able to do it in like stints. Where last year he just went to another level where he, in my opinion, probably got into like the top 5-6 sort of hooker in the game. Like he became a really established hooker last year, and I think it may have crept up on the Raiders just how good he can get and what level he has now gotten to, because it now looks like it's going to be pushing back Paddy's development somewhat, and it originally forced him into a position where they thought they needed another hooker. Then by, again, another situation where I reckon if they were able to make this Brayley signing at the end of last year, they wouldn't have done it. Like if we go to one of these windows where people are suggesting to go to like the off-season window to make a signing, I reckon half the signings that clubs make, they wouldn't make, because they jump at things early and they try and like tackle a problem. And then we see the likes of Starling who will just have that season. They'll go, hang on, we've got Starling and Paddy in our wings. We don't need to go anywhere else. We're set. Like it's just interesting to see where all that goes. But let's finish on a high, boys. A very positive story for the TLT. Good to see. I looked at the Dolphins forward pack, and the leaders are starting, which is fantastic to see. I'm talking Tommy Gilbert and Flegler are back there. So I am so keen to see both of these boys. Obviously, they've had huge injury history with the Dolphins since basically being big name signings for them, and everyone looking forward to seeing what they could do with the Dolphins, established first grade players. They now get to both start after we heard a few weeks ago that Flegler was probably going to have just stints off the bench to start with. I'm so keen to see what both of these guys can do. It's not probably their ideal front row pairing to start with. I think Gilbert might be more of that sort of, I don't know, he's in the middle, like a no man's land for mine. He's a bit more, not an edge, but not a middle completely, like maybe lock, but keen to see, Trav, what these can. I think for Flegler, it's such a feel-good story. I'm so happy for him to come back and to be starting, and hopefully Bunnies kick off to start with, and Flegler gets his first hit up. This would be just awesome to see.
Would you be as excited for that as watching Lenu catch it off an Origin Queensland kick? Like that awesome?
Ooh. Well, Queensland don't kick it to Lenu, so it doesn't matter. It'd be a fizzle out.
Why bother? We don't need to. Look, when I saw that, I was so happy. I actually smiled, and I don't normally smile at that sort of stuff, but I smiled because I was just like, man, like I've watched these guys for so long, and they just haven't played, and they haven't been able to do it, or they have played and then get themselves injured, and like the Gilbert Flegler story. I remember taking him in a draft a few years ago I heard about it, and then I literally had him on my team thinking, yeah, he's going to come back next week. Oh, no, he's out of it. And he's going to come. And then like 5, 6, 7 weeks later, I find out that he's out for the year. It's kind of like, we all love him. I'll be watching with my head behind a pillow, kind of like hoping they get through because I just really want them to get through. It's bloody exciting. Yeah.
Stormy, rainy weather on Sunday as well, so it could be a real big forwards game.
Yeah, that's it. It could be. There's so much in this Rabbitohs Dolphins game that I'm so keen to watch.
Yeah. Brent, feel good story. Rugby League, it's back, but it's just great to see Flegler. What is it? 2 years he's finally back on the field. And to be fair, after the trials, he actually looked really good.
Yeah.
Well, I honestly think people have forgotten how good Tom Fledger is. He is, when he was, before he got injured, he was in some great form, and he is a damaging, devastating, front rower when he is on. So I'd love to see him get back to that, and I hope he can. I hope we don't see anything, put that into any doubt or have any issues again moving forward, because it's good for the game, not good for the Blues, because he could certainly put himself in that conversation again very quickly if fitness isn't an issue. I do think it's going to be a great battle. That South pack's looking pretty heavy too. You got Totola, Colo, Murray in the middle there, so they're going to need him. They're going to need him and Gilbert to be firing. But yeah, really good things to see, and also from a Supercoach perspective, boys, could be nice for Tommy too.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. All right, let's get to the biggest part of the show. Really, it's ultimate bragging rights now, and we've got our tips, best bets, and our Hail Mary bet. Obviously, thanks to Best Bets for sponsoring this part of the podcast. Firstly, so Isaac last week did put some tips in. There was a win. We will talk about that shortly. So what we've decided on, we're happy with this. Brent's going to take over Isaac's bets from last week just to keep it going, keep it fair. He has put in and submitted to us his future bets as well. What I wanted to do is just quickly read them out on air. He has put these in a couple of days ago. Both me and Trav have okayed this one. We were happy with what he had done and all on board for our opinion. So we'll change them over. I'll put the odds up and I'll refresh that post for it. So his premiers, he's gone for the Panthers. Actually, I was going to go.
I was waiting for this.
Don't lie.
Sorry, I won't lie. So premiers, he's gone for the Newcastle Knights. Minor premiers, he's gone for the Newcastle Knights. Top 4, he's gone for the Newcastle Knights. Don't know if you guys are getting the rhythm here, but top 8, he's gone for the Newcastle Knights. Wooden Spooners, he went for the Cowboys after falling victim to them on the weekend. Top try scorer, you had Kalen Ponga, didn't you?
Marzu, Greggy.
Oh, Marzu, sorry. You gave Marzu some love. Yep. And then top point scorer, you actually went for Kalen Ponga. So it was...
And it's in writing. It's true.
Yeah. I was about to say it's pretty Cowboys biased, to be fair. Like a number of Cowboys mentions in there, which I didn't like. A bit more Newcastle Knights flavour. I think they should have been on the wooden spoon section as well. But to be fair, he's a legit one, guys. Premiers Penrith, Minor premiers, the Roosters. Top 4, he's going to go the Rabbits. Top 8, the Dolphins. Wooden Spooners, the Titans. Top try scorer, Alex Johnston. And top point scorer, Latrell Mitchell. So some pretty good bets in there. Brent, I won't lie, you've got me a little bit worried, especially after. Now let's go through the results from last week. Well, Isaac, shout out to him, got away to a bit of a good start for you. To now, you've got to continue to hold the lead. So the Knights Cowboys, my drinky ATS anytime try scorer was not successful. Unfortunately, got smashed in the ribs after about 2 minutes and just felt like he was a ghost out there. Total match points for Trav was 42.5. $1.90, he got that, so a nice big green tick box for him. And then Isaac got the same game multi in this game, so he got a Knights head-to-head into the Sharp anytime try scorer. That was good to get that before Sharp went off, and that was $5.44. For the Bulldogs game, I was the only one with with a successful bet in this one. Got the Preston anytime try scorer, which was nice to see. Got the first one as well. That would have been paying nicely. Unfortunately for Trav, he went Bulldogs -7.5, and Isaac went Bulldogs 13 plus. Hail Marys, none of them came off, but two of the boys got pretty close. So Trav missed out off a Tuaplotu try and the Dogs Dragons going over 30.5. Isaac, he almost doubled up and got Brent away to a smashing lead. Just missed out with Bulldogs 13 plus. So he went 1-12. I think that was actually paying more. And that would have been I can't believe Brent's starting so strong in this one. So, but the leaderboard for that one. So as you can see, Brent is leading, even though he has not submitted a tip yet. So make of that what you will. 544. I'm second, 390, and Trav is $1.90 up in the rear. So really, if you put like $10 on each of the bets so far, me and Brent are ahead. Travis gone a bit just easing into it. Wasn't quite ahead last week, Trav, but it's okay. You slow and steady wins the race, didn't you say?
I did, yeah. Slow and steady wins the race.
Shout out Isaac, and whilst premierships aren't won in March, neither are betting comps, Trav. Don't worry about it.
I'm not worried. Don't worry. Wait till you hear what I've got today.
All right. So what we'll do our tips, and then we'll do our best bet after that as well, just at the same time. So first game, it's a League of Inches Cup. We're going to start naming all these each time. Two teams that we support are up against each other. So the Storm v the Eels, a huge grudge match now. I'm very keen. I'm sure everyone in the league is keen to watch how this one unfolds. There'll be plenty of feeling. I'll go first. I'm going to go the Eels. Just have to do a grudge match. First game of the year. I feel like I've got to tip my team, which means I'm just going to go some value here. I think if I'm tipping my team, the fact that they're paying $2.75 outsiders, I like those sort of values without we're relying too much on points and things like that. So I'll just go on Eels head-to-head at $2.75 as well. Trav?
I will start. If you're not two for two in the tipping competition already, you don't know rugby league. But I thought I'd just do that because you did this. You did this for what 6-7 weeks last week.
Buddy, son's beating me. How do you think I feel?
And he picked it off eating a Skittle, wasn't it?
Eating M&Ms. Shout out M&Ms. I'm going to tag you every week until you sponsor
Cadbury. Us. Get on the Cadbury. I've got the Storm winning and continuing the streak, but my best bet is. I'm covering myself here. I think the best bet in this game, it's going to be so close. So I've got Parra on the +6.5 at $1.90.
Don't mind that. Don't mind that at all. Brent, what do you got for us? So you're tipping and what's your best bet?
Boys, how many round one games have the Storm won now, Trav? How many is it? Like
20
something ridiculous,
20
odd.
22 in a row?
Yeah.
It's an insane record, and just on that, I'm actually going to tip the Eels. I just look at the lists and... Yeah, I know the Storm has still got some quality there, but there's a lot of new faces, a lot of new combinations, particularly on some of those edges, which is going to be very interesting to see. And then there's also a bit of feeling in this one. So I'm tipping Parra to come out in this one and cause a big upset to start not start the round, but start the games for the week.
The way the feeling is for these two teams at the moment, wouldn't surprise me if Jason Rolls is marching down at some point in this game and takes a hit up. Oh, I reckon he's steaming at the moment after seeing his presser today. The Warriors versus the Roosters is the next game over in New Zealand. Trav, kick us off.
So I'm just going to get my paper. I've picked the Roosters, and my best bet for the Roosters is I've got a Mart What have I got? I've got a Marky Mark anytime time scorer. I've got a Tupou anytime scorer, and I've got an over 39.5 for same game multi for that one.
Goodness me. Okay. Look
The
out.
odds in that is good.
Brent,
I forgot to mention on the Melbourne game, I'm a big value anytime guy. I've got Lasardi at 7.25 anytime on the edge. I think he looks likely. I don't know about his minutes, but I had Lasardi, I forgot to mention, at $7.25 anytime. There's too much value there. This one, I'm going the Chooks, boys. I'm always weary to go against the Wars over in New Zealand, but I'm going the Chooks. I think they're going to be pretty formidable this year, and it will start on Friday against the Wars. And not too exciting, but I feel like there's a bit of value if the Chooks put points on the Wars with Teddy anytime at 275.
That's good value for Teddy. Wow. I've gone the Roosters as well. I think they're just looking too good. And I just don't like the Warriors halves to start the year. A little bit shaky. I've heard CHT isn't completely fit either. And I've gone
Very
some
surprised
value
to see his
here.
name, to be honest.
Yeah, I was as well, actually. I think maybe the Tamari Martin injuries forced their hand there, but the fact they just feel like they've got no one left. He's just got to play one-legged. I've gone Crichton for anytime try score at 390. I was getting him for, so I am very happy to get those odds. I don't care who he's with; they can both feed their edge back rowers in their sleep, both DCE and Walker. So I think he may get one. Broncos against Penrith. Many are tipping this as the game of the round this week. Flashbacks to last time they played at Suncorp was that prelim final, absolute excitement, chaotic machine game. I was there. It was fantastic as a neutral just to sit back and watch everyone get involved. The crowd was fantastic. Hopefully the weather's good and this can be similar atmosphere. Brent, kick us off for this one.
Yeah, look, I am tipping probably against popular opinion. I'm going to go with Penrith to get a bit of redemption on last year to start the year off. It's going to be a tight game, I think, but I think the Panthers are going to be ready to go this year and they'll start strong. Value-wise, again, just at any time, I've got Scotty Sorensen on the edge. He's also paying $7 any time, so just looking for the value.
Holy shit, I hope some of these don't come off for you.
I know.
I've gone Penrith as well. I think Penrith, there's something with them at the moment. Just obviously Cleary getting off. I just feel like they know that they've got a hard start to the year, so I'm really anticipating them to put a stake in the ground and just after seeing what Hull did on the weekend against Leeds and coming off that, and they beat the Broncos, maybe I'm reading a little bit too into it, but I just think maybe not everything's all rosy at the Broncos at the moment, following the Haas decision as well. There's a lot of noise starting to come out of the Broncos camp, it feels like. And then I've gone for my best bet, Penrith just 1-12, $3.10. I think it will be a close game. I don't think Penrith will run away with it. I think it will be one of those arm wrestle games, so I think Penrith win it and 1-12. Trav?
I've tipped the Broncos, then I tipped the Panthers, then I tipped the Broncos, then I tipped the Panthers, and then now I'm going to tip the Broncos. So I'm staying with the Broncos.
Who is it?
So I have literally changed it that many times since last Thursday for what I wanted to do for this game. I'm in a little Thursday night routine. We sit at dinner time and we do the footy tips with me and my girls, my wife and my two girls, and we sit there every Thursday night and we do our footy tips. As a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old does their tips. A 3-year-old just picks them based off the names that she likes, and my 7-year-old picks them based off what me and my wife tell her. But yeah, so it's a bit of fun. But yeah, as I said, Broncos now at home. I think they've just got a little bit to prove. There's been a lot of talk around the Madge situation and coaching and what they're liking. So I think there's a fair bit to prove, even though they're the reigning premiers. They've still got things to prove, which unfortunately for the competition is scary. And I'm going to go, look, I said to you before we even started the recording, I didn't know what I was doing for this game. I had no idea, but I've come up with a little same game multi again. So I've got under 41.5. I've got a Paul Alamotti try, and I've got a Reece Walsh try, and I think that's currently sitting at $26.
Holy shit. Wow. And that actually seems pretty logical. That could happen. Mm. So let's look out there, especially if it is a little bit wet with this. What is it, cyclonic conditions up north in Queensland. We're going to cop a little bit here in southeast Queensland. Sharkies versus the Titans. So back to me. I've gone the Sharkies in this one. I think at home they'll be too good, even though I think the Titans will be improved. I've actually gone a little same gamer as well. I just think Sharks generally just score a lot of their tries out wide. So I've just gone both their wingers, put them into a same-game multi, got $3.02 from it, which I think is pretty good value because more often than not, I think especially early days, we see a lot of the Sharks wingers score. Normally it's Militalo, but Stone Street's a recognised try scorer as well. So very happy to go all in on both of those. Trav?
I agree with you that I think the Titans will look much better, but looking better and still winning games doesn't quite correlate. I think the Sharks will get this done at home. I think they'll be pretty comfortable with it too. I've got so I've got the Sharks, and then again, I'm going on same game multi. I've gone all out. I went all safe last week. I'm going to go all out for as much as I can this week. See if something pulls off. But I've got a under 47.5 for this for the game for total points. I've got a Phillip Sammy try, and I've got Gold Coast plus 11.5. That's at $18.
He's going all out. Look out, Brent. He wants to take off. It's the Tour de France, and he just wants to do a sprint stage from the word go. Brent?
Yeah, it's bloody hell. We're going to be in strife if he nails a couple of these.
100%.
Yeah, boys, I'm going to go with the Sharkies as well, being at home. I still think that Titans team's pretty leery. They'll be dangerous at times, but I think Cronulla will be a serious footy side again this year. That said, again, I like to find me a bit of value on the anytimes, and I've just looked at Bowie for more running off AJ Brimson again at $4.50. I know Cronulla are a pretty good defensive side. I think he pairs up with Nakora, but I still like the form that Famore showed in the preseason. I think there's a bit of value there.
That's all right. Nakora's got the odd brain fight in him, so defensively he might make a wrong decision if Fermor crashes over. Manly against the Raiders Saturday night at Brookie should be a sellout. Who have we got here first? We've got Trav.
So I'm going to go the Raiders, but I think this game's going to be a fair bit closer than them being the favourites. I think this will be a sneakily good game. Here's a little stat for you on a same game multi that, surprise, I'm going to go again. Did you know that the under hits 78% of the time in the opening 4 rounds of the last 5 seasons for a team that travels interstate, when a team has to travel interstate? So
I'm confused.
Yeah. So, well, that's, So what that means is that I'm going under 43.5 because it hits 78% of the time in the first 4 rounds, as it has for the last 5 years for an interstate team. Then I've got Kaya Weeks and Hudson Young. I just wanted to chuck that in. I thought that was a little funny stat for you. It doesn't necessarily match this game, but I mean, technically the Raiders are traveling interstate, but interstate within a state.
It works 78% of the time, every time, guys. So
Yeah.
let's just make of that what you will. Brenny, what do you got?
Well, I've done a bit of research myself as well, and when the wind speed's between 16 and 20 kilometres and the humidity levels at around... No, I'm just kidding, boys. Look, I think this will be a good game as well, and I'm going to actually, much to probably a lot of people's surprise and probably my own, I think I'm going to tip Manly at 4 points. I don't know what it is about this Canberra team. I just continually doubt them, which last year, as I think I mentioned in one of those chats, I had them getting the spoon and they won the minor premiership. So I just want to put that out there for everyone that's listening to anything I say at any point. But yeah, so I'm going to go Tommy putting the boys on the back for his first game as captain, I believe, at 4 points. And I'm also going to get on a Tommy Turbo anytime. Very boring, but $2.55 for Tommy at 4 points is too good for me.
Geez, I hope Turbo doesn't put the team on his back because he'll get injured.
He probably will. But...
I have gone the Raiders. I think I'm a little bit nervous though. That could change. Keep an eye on the tips post because I'm just suddenly more and more. When I look at this Raiders side more and more, I just think maybe Manly for an early upset could be on the cards. But value, we talked about value. I think Hudson Young, anytime try scorer, we know how well he started last year scoring tries at 350 or at the moment. Give me that every day of the week. I will absolutely swallow that. So give me a 350 Huddy Young try, please. Last one of the week at Suncorp, again, Dolphins versus the Rabbitohs. Brent, what have you got?
Yeah, this should be an absolute cracker, boys. This is potentially one of the games of the round, if not the game of the round to finish us off. So it should be a cracker. Hopefully we get some good weather for this one. I don't know.
It's not looking good. 90%
not looking good.
Chance of rain.
Yeah, okay, that's
and lots.
not That's not ideal, especially for these two types of teams, which have some really good dry track footy players. So it's a bit of a shame, but anyway, we'll see what happens. Tough. I've got the Dolphins doing big things this year, but I've got the Rabbitohs doing bigger, and they start doing it on Sunday. I've tipped the Bunnies on that, and I've gone for feed at any time at $4. Too good to overlook.
Yeah, I'm similar to you actually. I think the Dolphins are in for a fantastic year, but something's drawing me just towards the Rabbitohs starting well, and I think they will. So I've gone the Rabbitohs here, and I've gone the Rabbitohs 1-12 at $3. I did look at the weather before doing this one. I was the only one I actually researched for some reason, and I just thought while it is going to be quite wet, I think it will be. It'll just keep points maybe slightly down to what this game probably would be if it was in the dry. It could be one of those cricket scores for both sides. So, 1-12 for the Bunnies at $3. Trav?
I'm going the Dolphins. I think I'm so high on the Dolphins this year if they stay healthy, and I think they start off really, really well. I think that even in the rain, if it is the rain that it's all predicting comes, I think they will. They just got a better suited team, Queensland weather, than the Rabbits. So I'm going them, and I've got another surprise, same game multi, all three scorers. So I've got a Latrell, a Johnston, and a Hammer anytime try score, same game multi, $16.
Good
Tell you
value.
what, I am very nervous. Mate, do you even need to do a Hail Mary? Because at the moment, everything
Yes.
of yours is a Hail Mary.
It is.
Let's get over to the Hail Mary for the week from us, guys. So my one, I'll say right now, odds-wise, it just qualifies. But there's a little bit of a backstory to it, which is why I ended up doing it. So my Supercoach team didn't get off to a flying start last weekend, which was unfortunate. And this is one of the ultimate sins, but I'm going to try and reverse the trend this year. I'm going all in and doubling down on my remaining centre wing starting players. So I've put them all in to score a try this weekend. So I've got Iro, Farnworth, and Toe, all anytime try scorers, and it gets me $10.22. So I'm going to reverse the trend. Hopefully they all get over the line, and hopefully I'm smiling from ear to ear for many reasons. Hundreds for all three, and then some money in my bank account.
Who's your fourth centre?
I had Holmes.
So who's already played? I was going to say, yeah. My same game, my Hail Mary is Dolphins minus 1.5, Raiders to win, Sharks minus 9.5, Panthers plus 6.5, Roosters minus 4.5, Eels plus 7.5. That's $33.22. Thank you for coming.
I'm sorry, guys, but you're going to see the graphic for this when it comes out in the next couple of days. And because of Trav, it's going to be like a 3-pager. It's going to go on and on and on.
Well, you had a go at me last week for being safe, so now I've gone all out.
Oh, I like it. It's just thanks for making the graph massive. Brent, what do you got?
Well, I'll preface it by saying that my Hail Marys aren't even as big as any Trav's, just standard same games. But I've qualified nonetheless, boys. I've gone very vanilla, played it pretty safe, conservative, if you will. As per the odds, I've just gone a few upsets, so just a few head-to-heads. I got Penrith at $2.15 head-to-head over the Bronx, Eagles at $1.95 over the Raiders, and I actually have included the Eels to roll the Storm at $2.75, giving me a total of... something's unticked there. $11.52. Nothing exciting, but I think early season footy, we could see some close games and some upsets as per the odds, and that's where I'm at.
I'm gonna win this betting competition in round one.
Mad respect to you, brother. Let's ride this streak together and end it and be in shock like wrestling fans were for The Undertaker. But that's it, guys. That is all we've got time for. A huge weekend of rugby league to come that starts on Thursday night. How bloody good is it? Continue to get around all the posts. I absolutely are loving everything. We've just reached 4K subscribers on YouTube as well, which is a huge thank you to everyone out there who's supporting the page. Endlessly continue those comments, likes, shares. It makes a huge difference, and it's the reason why we are growing the way we are. Facebook is a couple hundred off hitting the 30K mark as well. So some big milestones we're reaching or about to reach. It's just all down to you guys. The magazine, round 1 edition, is out basically as soon as you guys listening to this. So if you're not a legend yet, in the show notes will be the link. Make sure you click that link for $4.49 per month. You get all 4 issues each month, plus additional content, including Supercoach. Get your team looked at by all the professionals on the page, Trav, Jesse, and co. chats. We've got massive chats as well, betting chats, exclusive betting chats. And like we said the other night, it went off on the weekend, and I'm sure it will do as again this weekend. It's just a community we're trying to create, and currently it is going off with a good amount of people already there. But thank you very much. Thank you to Trav, Brent. We'll be back again shortly. Supercoach tomorrow night. Plenty to talk about there, so stay tuned for that one. It'll be a huge show. We will see you all again soon. Bye-bye.